Everyone our age says the same thing. Our sleep sucks. We've all been there, waking up at 3 in the morning, completely alert, lying there for what feels like hours. And most of us have just accepted it as part of getting older, filed it away, with nothing to be done. I thought that for a while too. What I'm going to show you today is 2 things. A 7-minute routine to do before bed that tackles why this keeps happening in the first place, and a 3-minute sequence for when you still wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back off, because both matter and most people only ever get half the answer. Now, one thing worth flagging before we get into it. For some of us, waking up in the night isn't just about biology or sleep habits. Physical discomfort is one of the most overlooked reasons people our age can't stay asleep. I put a guide together that identifies exactly where your body is carrying those strains and gives you the exercises to fix them. Links in the description if you want to check that out. Right, let's look at what's actually going on when we call it a night. What's happening to our sleep isn't just one thing. It cycles through different stages throughout the night, and the one that matters most for us is deep, slow-wave sleep. That's where the real work happens. Tissue repair, hormone production, feeling actually recovered in the morning rather than just less tired. In our 20s, deep sleep makes up roughly 19% of the night. By our mid-40s, that figure is around 3%. Let that sit for a second. We're not sleeping a bit worse. We're losing almost the entire restorative phase of the night. And on top of that, the number of times we surface into lighter sleep, those brief wake-ups, goes from 2 or 3 a night up to 5, 6, 7, which is why 3 in the morning feels so familiar to so many of us. The other piece of this is melatonin, the hormone that tells our brain it's time to sleep. Levels stay fairly consistent right up to about 40, but then they start to decline, so it's not that the ability to actually sleep disappears. It's the signal that's just getting quieter. And then there's the part I find genuinely interesting. As testosterone naturally starts declining in our 40s, cortisol, our main stress hormone, tends to rise. High cortisol at night is one of the primary drivers of those 3 a.m. wake-ups. And here's the vicious part. Poor sleep then reduces testosterone further, which pushes cortisol higher, which disrupts sleep more. It's a loop, and most of us are stuck in it without realizing. A couple of things worth knowing before we get into it. You know that 3 o'clock coffee that gets us through the afternoon? Research shows caffeine consumed within about 9 hours of bedtime measurably reduces total sleep time and fragments sleep architecture. It's still active in your system at 11 at night. I'm not saying never have a coffee, just know what it's doing. And if sleep is a problem, push that last one earlier in the day. Same goes for the couple of drinks in the evening. And I get it. At our age, that feels like a reward, and it does help you drop off. Alcohol genuinely does that, but what it also does is disrupt the second half of the night, meaning more awakenings from about 2 a.m. onward, causing lighter and more fragmented sleep from there until morning. The drink isn't the problem. Thinking it's helping your sleep is. I was doing both of these. Still do occasionally if I'm honest. But knowing the mechanism changes things. Right, one rule before the routine, because it underpins everything else. Fixed wake time. Same time every morning, including on the weekends. Our internal clock becomes less robust as we age, and it needs something to anchor to. A consistent wake time is the most reliable way to do that. Everything we're about to do works considerably better when this is already in place. Pick a time, stick to it. That's the foundation. The 7-minute pre-bed routine. At our age, the shift from the alert, switched on state most of us are in at the end of a day to the calm, recovered state the body needs to sleep well doesn't happen automatically the way it used to. We have to give it a reason to make that transition. That's what this is. Make sure you're in a dim room. Not pitch black, just away from bright overhead lights. Dim lighting is part of the signal, and do it at the same time each night. Consistency matters as much as the movements. Step 1, the worry dump, 5 minutes. Not a movement, but don't skip it. Sit somewhere quiet, not in bed, and write down everything that's unresolved. Tasks for tomorrow, things you haven't sorted, anything that's been sitting in the back of your head. 1 sentence each, then a single concrete next step for each one. You're not solving anything, you're just getting it out of your head and onto a page so your brain isn't trying to hold on to it all at midnight. This comes directly out of the research on insomnia treatment. It's one of the most consistently effective things for the racing mind that keeps us awake. Sounds almost too simple. Most people who try it notice a difference within a few nights. Step 2, kneeling, hip flexor, stretch. 60 seconds each side. I've spoken about this movement before on this channel, and it's perfect to implement here. Get into a half-kneeling position. One knee on the floor, one foot forward. Tuck the back hip under slightly, then shift your weight forward until you feel a stretch at the front of that back hip. Keep tall. The movement comes from the hip, not the lower back. Most of us who sit for a significant part of the day have hip flexors that have been in a compressed position for hours. When we go to bed without addressing that, the tension stays in the tissue and keeps us in lighter sleep stages. This is about giving those tissues what they've needed all day. You'll probably find one side is considerably tighter than the other. That's completely normal, and it's telling you something about where the body's been compensating. Step 3. Supine spinal twist. 60 seconds each side. Lie on your back. Bring one knee across the body toward the floor on the opposite side, same side arm extended out. Let gravity do the work, no forcing it. This decompresses the lower spine, releases the shoulder girdle, and naturally deepens the breath. For anyone carrying a back strain or a hip niggle, and at our age that's most of us, going to bed while those tissues are still loaded is part of why physical discomfort wakes us up. This addresses it before you get horizontal. Step 4. Child's pose with extended exhale. 90 seconds. Kneel and sit back toward the heels, arms extended forward or resting alongside the body, forehead toward the floor. If the knees don't allow it, a seated forward fold does the same job. The movement here is the breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. The extended exhale is the mechanism. It directly activates the vagus nerve, the main pathway into the body's recovery mode. You're not just resting. You're actively signaling the nervous system to downshift. That's the point of the whole thing. Step 5. Reclined butterfly, 60 seconds, lie on your back, soles of the feet together, knees falling open to the sides, arms wherever they're comfortable, just breathe. 4 in, 6 out. Let the hips open passively. This is the finish position. It releases the inner groin and hip rotators, areas that hold more accumulated tension than most people realize, and naturally eases into lying flat. By the time you've been here for 60 seconds with the breathing slowed right down, the shift has already happened. The 3-minute back to sleep sequence. Now, even with all of this, there will be nights where you wake up and can't get back off. That's fine, but most of us do exactly the wrong thing. We lie there and try harder to sleep, and effort is arousal. Arousal is the opposite of sleep. If you're awake and mentally alert for more than about 15 minutes, get out of bed. Go somewhere dimly lit and do something genuinely boring. Read something dull, a bit of quiet journaling, until you actually feel drowsy. Then go back. The reason this matters is about association. Your brain learns. Enough nights lying awake in bed, and it starts associating the bed itself with being alert, which makes every subsequent night harder. Getting up breaks that pattern. When you go back, do this. Lie down, one hand on the chest, one on the belly, inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. Focus entirely on the belly rising and falling, not the chest. Do that for 3 minutes. That's it. The body is already primed at that point. The breathing just tips it over. And one last thing. If you snore heavily, if you're waking up gasping, if someone's mentioned it, please get that looked at. Sleep apnea is remarkably common in men our age, and the vast majority of cases go undiagnosed for years. Nothing in this video addresses that. It needs a proper medical assessment, and the difference, once it's treated, is significant. That's everything. The deep sleep collapse, the melatonin decline, the cortisol loop we all end up in, the afternoon coffee and the evening drink doing the opposite of what we think, and 2 routines. 7 minutes before bed to stop it happening, 3 minutes at 3 a.m. for when it still does. None of this is complicated. It's just the stuff nobody really explains clearly enough. Try to implement the things from this tonight and see how the next few mornings feel. If this was useful, there's plenty more where that came from. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing it. Right, go get some sleep.